Welcome back to my second video on fitness, why I like it. This is going to be the continuation of my history with sports, fitness, all that jazz. So last time we left off, I was talking about high school. So towards the end of my high school career, some of my friends picked up racquetball and we started playing usually a couple times a week. They were competitive and I didn't have great equipment, so I played and did okay. But again, competition wasn't like the end-all be-all for me, probably because I wasn't very good. So after I graduated from high school, I spent the summer lifting, and another friend of mine who had similar power building goals, all we did that summer was eat and work out every day. I continued to jump my body weight 10 pounds from 160 at this point to 170. And then when I went to college, contrary to the usual freshman 15, I lost weight. I continued running, but I didn't remember setting foot inside the weight room until I was like a sophomore. So although I'm sure I must have, I started playing racquetball as my sport. Our college had a really good intramural team, and me and some of my friends from high school got on the team, but mostly it was so that we could help the star player train. Racquetball was really good for developing my quickness and hand-eye coordination, but I wasn't too serious about it. I only competed a couple of times, and I really just enjoyed playing the game. I liked pushing myself to be better, but that isn't necessarily meant beating the other person I was playing against. I kept running on occasion, and I'm sure I did some weights. I just don't really remember doing it a lot. School was fairly demanding for me. So I decided to try multi-sport races during college as well. I started with a couple of run, bike, run duathlons, and I did a one sprint triathlon. Having an Olympic pool to train in was really fun once I got good at swimming. But it was really just not as enjoyable as like running and listening to music, so I didn't stick with it. If I had waterproof headphones, I might have kept going. At the end of college, I rediscovered strength training. It started with one of my buddies who wanted to work on bench press all the time, and I started training squats again on my own after we got done. When I got out on my own, a friend of mine pointed me to the 5x5 Strong Lifts program. This is my reintroduction to strength training, and I hit it full force and kept going. For those people who are unfamiliar, 5x5 is 5 sets, 5 reps, and you complete all 5 with the same weight, and the next time you perform the lift, you up the weight. You squat 3 times a week, alternating bench and overhead press, and then deadlift and barbell rows. I felt like this protocol never had enough deadlift for me. One set of 5 reps just didn't feel like enough training for me, but I'm sure I was doing it wrong. So I plateaued on squats around like the 285 pound mark, started having issues with my knees and hips, and I changed my form a few times from low bar squat to high bar squat, and I experimented with some stuff in between. I experimented with the Texas method, and I liked some aspects of it. I enjoyed the increased intensity, more recovery time between squatting sessions, and more volume on the deadlift were both good for me. I was working out around 3 to 4 times a week, hitting really intense weights 3 times and a 4th sort of accessory day or cardio day. It took a lot of work and a lot of food, but I did eventually get my body weight up to a good like 180, and I peaked at a more fluffy 190. But I was still only getting to around 2 times body weight on squat and deadlift, and my bench was never that impressive. Looking back through my records, I think the heaviest I got was 255 pounds. Around this time, I got married and we quickly had our first child. This increased the level of stress and fatigue in my life and mandated a change in the way I was training. I managed to maintain it long enough to do a powerlifting meet, and I really enjoyed it. It was the best combination of competing against yourself and getting to compete against other people. But it isn't direct, so everyone is nice and encouraging, and it's a great atmosphere. From there, I started my own mix of doing 5x5 workouts, then 5x3 the next week, then pyramid workouts the week after that. I really liked this protocol. It seemed to work well for me. It allowed me to get volume in one week to boost my intensity the next time. I got some slow progress over the next year and did another meet, and it was fun. My maxes all went up a bit, but I messed up my bench attempts and I didn't get what I wanted there. I never got that 265 or whatever I was chasing. After that, I backed off strength training, and I hurt my back and shoulder a few more times around this time as well. So I took a step back and tried to maintain without losing too much ground. After my powerlifting phase, I talked myself into doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, and I loved it. It was just like wrestling, but you don't have to be as explosive and athletic as a basic requirement. You do need some flexibility, and I had a lot of that behind, had left a lot of that behind in my powerlifting career. So I had to do a lot of focused work to get some of that back to just kind of baseline levels. I also got interested in boxing just to familiarize myself with some striking. I was doing some heavy bag work and hitting hard, and then I focused on shadow boxing and technique videos on YouTube, and a video game for the Nintendo Switch that's like a fitness boxing rhythm game. It focuses more on rhythm and timing. That takes us right up to the present. So come back next video and I'll talk a little bit about what I'm doing now and how my training is continuing to evolve. Thanks for watching.